Hey everybody, Chris Bond 21 here, and welcome back to the next part of the Kingdom Hearts Marathon Let's Play. We are getting to the end of the journey here. We are on the final collection, the final chapter prologue, 2.8, Dewey Decimal, your Infinity Band thing, whatever you want to call it, collection. Basically, this collection is a little smaller than the one we had. The other collection was both the 1.5 and 2.5 together, so we're back on this little mini screen with 3, and this collection only has 2 things, but really just one when you get right down to it. It's one game, a tech demo for Kingdom Hearts 3, and finally, we got Kingdom Hearts Key, which is a backstory thing, which I don't think I'm going to cover in my playthrough. If anything, I'll watch. I haven't actually watched this still, and it's been, I think, 2 years since this thing came out, so I haven't even seen this yet. I heard it doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's kind of confusing, but I heard there's an element of it that's going to be important for 3, so we might need to take a look at that. If anything, I'll put a link in the description after we finish the middle game, Kingdom Hearts 0.2, Birth by Sleep, a Fragmentary Passage. Insert longer title here, and basically we'll talk about it after the fact, and we'll see what's going on with that. But today we are beginning the final real game. I know we've had a little bit of a rough go here. We went from cutscenes to Birth by Sleep to more cutscenes to, thankfully, we're going back to a game, which I'm more than happy for because I can't watch Kingdom Hearts. I need to play Kingdom Hearts because that's the point. So we're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance HD. It was originally called Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance because the 3D stood for the 3Ds, Dream Drop and Distance, and it was originally on the 3DS, and it looked pretty good. It was basically Birth by Sleep style graphics, now finally on Nintendo's handheld, whereas the Days game and Recoded, they were kind of pixelized versions of Kingdom Hearts 2 engine footage running on a DS, so it didn't quite look as great as it could have been, but Dream Drop Distance proved that, even Nintendo's handhelds could do some pretty sick looking graphics and make it look just like the PS2 game, so pretty good. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to jump over to this thing, the Birth by Sleep 2.0.2, which is basically a glorified tech demo for Kingdom Hearts 3. So we're going to try to do HD, hopefully with the upload schedule. I'm recording this at the beginning of December, so hopefully this gets out a little after Christmas, maybe beginning of the new year, so most of January will be this. And the Birth by Sleep thing isn't a game. It's about 4 hours, really, that you can beat. I beat it in one sitting my first time I played it, so it's not a very long, challenging thing. And we're not going to put the game on any hard difficulties because I have already platinumed the Dream Drop Distance version. I haven't platinumed Birth by Sleep because there's a couple of little hard ones in there that I got to really challenge myself with. But yeah, we're going to get started with Dream Drop Distance. I would recap the series, but I actually tried doing that in an earlier video, and it took about 20 minutes to recap everything. So, thankfully, this game will kind of have moments where I will be able to recap the game through these little, I think they're called mementos? I forgot. There is something that tries to help you understand what happened in the previous games, because I think at this point even the developers were kind of knowing that, oh crap, it's been a few years since the last game, or it's been years since the more important games, and this game came out in 2012, so it was 2 years after Birth by Sleep and kind of a year after Recoded thing had come out, so this was the next chapter of the game. So basically we'll pick it up from where we left off on the last thing. So at the end of Recoded, as boring and as stupid and obsolete as that game really is, the ending cutscenes were kind of really important. So we found out from Yensid that apparently we caused a little bit of a problem here by killing Ansem in Kingdom Hearts 1 and then killing Xemnas in Kingdom Hearts 2. We kinda sorta done screwed up. We inadvertently have now caused Master Xehanort, the Master Xehanort we saw in Birth by Sleep. He's alive again because his heart has been freed and his nobody, and his nobody being his body, his empty shell, is all free now, and so it retcons and goes back together. And so yeah, the old bald mother frigga, voiced by Leonard Nimoy, is alive and kicking again, and you know what Boy wants to do. Definitely try to get back into Kingdom Hearts and cause that ultimate fight for the light in Kingdom Hearts. So yeah, no bueno. So Yensid had called for Sora and Riku to come to the tower to show him the Mark of Mastery, which, as we all know, is a test to become true Keyblade Masters. So the Keyblade Master title had been kind of thrown around in earlier games, but this is where they kind of really start laying it on a little bit with, they're not really Keyblade Masters, so we needed another game to wait out for Kingdom Hearts 3, so here we is. So yeah, that was that side of it, and that's sort of where we're beginning with this game. Also installed the Shadow of the Tomb Raider version 1.1 file. Always good to see when that happens. So let's get started here with Dream Drop Distance. And fun fact, I don't think this is going to play. If it does, I'm going to cut around it. But there's an intro here that's going to play at the beginning of the thing. So we're not going to go right to the menu at the Dearly Beloved music. We're actually going to watch a little bit of an intro cutscene, which is awesomely rendered. And then we're going to get started. So I'll see you guys in probably a few... That's pretty cool. I always love that intro. It's sort of like a recap based on what happened, and it's a really cool money shot at the end with Sora and all the characters. The fair spoiler warning here: that ending little fight thing with Xehanort there, that's actually not in this game. I guess it's a hint at what's to come, maybe in Kingdom Hearts 3, but I don't know. We shall see. So we're gonna go hit new game and carry over your spear. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do this just to make it easier on myself because I feel like I've struggled with critical mode. So I'm gonna take that. Yeah, 50 plus hours to 100% this game. So let me just use this clear data. Okay, so we're gonna take the spirits. I thank God that wasn't too much of a spoiler. And we have our usual settings. I'm gonna take a drink here. Just a sec. Give me a sec. That was a good drink. All right. So we got beginner, no, standard, difficult, proud, and critical. We seem to have an easy go with proud mode when it came to Kingdom Hearts 2, and I don't want to make this ridiculously easy, so proud mode it is, and vibration on because duh, and subtitles on because duh. So yeah, I'm going to take the spirits and I'm going to do proud mode and everything else on. So I think this will cue us right into the first bit of gameplay. So I don't think it's going to do that intro again. If it does, I'm just going to skip it. So let's get started with Dream Drop Distance.
Hey! Is this how you wanted it? Xehanort! You want to fill me in?
I am.
Hey! Do you remember now, or... Wait. Did you never lose your memory?
That's not my name. I'm not Xehanort.
What?
My name is Ansem.
But how far could a raft take us?
Who knows? If we have to, we'll think of something else.
Riku, a storm's coming.
I know. The waves are getting steep. Furl the sail.
Right. Riku!
I'm fine. What's that?
Oh, he was right. Those wretched guppies are here. Well, it's about time we settled the score.
Ursula! But how? Is this the test?
Come on. You can work it out later.
All right.
Sorry, dearies, but I won't fall for that trick.
Okay, so a little bit of a confusing opening. The opening thing, obviously, we just saw is the bit where the apprentices died and Ansem took over, and I didn't press anything there, so I guess I just skipped. But I don't really need to see the basics in combat. I think this is going to let me play. So yeah, this is a little bit of a weird start. So yeah, Ursula's here at the beginning. I don't know why they did this, why she's here, or what the purpose of this is, because if you're thinking that, oh, we're going back to Atlantic in this game, we're not. So again, a little misleading, I think. I guess because the raft and they needed an ocean enemy, and I guess maybe they didn't want to design a Heartless or something to fight here. So we got Ursula. Also, I guess continuity-wise, she's dead a second time. I don't know. It's all very weird. This game is very weird and surreal, as we'll soon see what's going on. Also, you'll notice that we have the command gauge back, and similar to the thing from Birth by Sleep, it runs on a cooldown thing. It's got different things already in there. Blizzard, you can do aerial attacks, and it looks like Ursula still has some of her moveset. And now I think guard is now always a given. Use potion. Thank God they put potions in there. They're a little too far away, so I think they want me to probably guard against these things. Or there we go. That was good. Got them all, and let's keep using fire. It's using little damage. Sora doesn't have a whole lot of health, so I don't want to risk it. Let's see if we can get close to her. Yeah, of course, or Ursula. My favorite boss. You remember how much fun I had fighting her in the first Kingdom Hearts? That was loads of fun. Fighting her in Kingdom Hearts 2 was just annoying because, you know, she wasn't really a boss. She just sort of sat there and sang. But yeah, you just gotta wail on her. This is just to get you like acclimated back to the controls, you know, get used to the command thing again. It's very similar, but then the game is different from Birth by Sleep. If you're thinking it's just gonna be the same thing that we did in Birth by Sleep, where it's, you know, command gauges and melding commands. Nope, that isn't how Birth by Sleep plays. Like pretty much all the games in the series we've seen up to this point have been. It's vastly different from what we saw before. And when we get into the like minute details in a little bit, I'll explain more about that. And I think I might be able to finish her off with one more quick blitz. Yes! What do we get? Maximum HP. Yeah, so once again, HP I don't think it's tied into leveling up. I can't really remember. It might not be. And I think we're going to get a cutscene.
This world has been connected.
Alright, so we get these little things called memento, and now this will give us a bit of backstory as to where we are.
As a Keyblade Master, Xehanort had a gift like few others. But such great minds are often plagued by a single great question. What is the essence of the human heart that weakens us or empowers us? The answer, he believed, would be found in the Keyblade War. What if the challenges of our past were in fact a map to the light and darkness that battles within us all? Xehanort had to know, so he renounced his duties as master and chose the Seeker's life. Since then, in many a guise, he has clashed with protectors of the light, Keyblade wielders like yourselves. And mark my words, he will trouble us yet again. We must be ready. Which is why you, Sora and Riku, are to be tested for the mark of a true Keyblade Master. No doubt you fancy yourselves masters already, but it takes years of training. Only a true master can teach you the proper way. Both of you are self-taught Keyblade wielders, an impressive feat. However, the time has come for you to let go of preconceived notions, forget what you know about the Keyblade, and begin your training again with a clean slate.
Huh? But that's a formality, right? I already proved myself. Me and the King and Riku, we can take on anything. Right, Riku?
I don't know. I think that in my heart, darkness still has a hold. Walking that path changed me. I'm not sure if I'm ready to wield a Keyblade. Maybe I do need to be tested.
Riku. Then count me in. Put me through the test. Just watch. Me and Riku will pass with flying colors.
Very well then. Sora and Riku, let your examination begin.
So a little bit of backstory there, how we wound up there. And there's a thing called glossary in this one, which will give you information on pretty much everything in the series. So in case you haven't been paying attention, or you've been playing the games in the traditional sense of how long it took for them to come out, which means at this point it was, I believe, the 15th anniversary. No, was this the 10 year? It was the 10 year. This was the 10 year, I think. Was it? No, it came out in 2002, 2012. Yeah, 10. This was the 10 year anniversary. So basically a way to, remember everything. Glossary terms. Keyblade Masters, in case you want to know that. Master Xehanort, in case you forgot who he was. And I think that should be it. And the cutscene should pick up now, or... Alright, so this is, I'm going to talk over this a little bit. So this is kind of the gummy ship of this game called the Dive Mode. It's a little mini game where you take down enemies and collect prizes as you fall at high speeds. This was naturally done on the 3DS because depth perception and 3D. So, we had to do something. So that's where the dive part comes in. So you got to pass through the rings, you get the objectives. It is okay. There's enemies sometimes in here. Riku tends to get the enemies. We tend to Sora just sort of go around. Also, graphics are great here. I know you're probably not going to be able to see it again on the video. But yeah, so you just go through the thing. You collect all the little hearts. No, the stars. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes you fight a boss, sometimes you don't. There are objectives to doing this, but it's not like the gummy ship where you have to, get those prizes. It's not like, the hidden things or anything like that. Like it was the, what was it, in Kingdom Hearts 2. You had to make sure you got all the special enemy Heartless ships so that you could get the bonus items or anything like that to fill up the treasure list. Yeah, so that's not a thing. So you dive into each world. So maybe you can figure out where we're diving into. The game kind of left it a little bit of a secret. Fun fact, this first world is going to be incredibly boring. We're already 20 minutes in, so I think I'm going to probably stop it. I think I know exactly when to stop it. I just want to get to that one particular thing. So we've got a Mega Flare thing. This thing will kill anything on screen. Mega Flare. Boom! And then everything just misses because, sure it goes. And once we got all the prizes, I think that's it. So you can keep boosting forward like this. And that's it. Once you get to that ring at the bottom, we're done. So yeah, we're going to a new world. We're sort of going to a new world. There are only new worlds in Dream Drop Distance, with the exception of 2. But one of them is radically redesigned. Also, that was a gold diver. Don't ask me what I did. And I got Spark Dive, another ability. So I think this should segue right into the cutscene.
Huh? This is Traverse Town. Hey, what's with my clothes? Must be more of Master Yen Sid's magic. But what happened to Riku? Riku! Hello? Riku!
Shut it.
Huh?
Talk about noise.
Ah!
Sora, right?
Yeah, but, how do you know that?
Looks like you're not a player.
A player?
Come on, keep up. In the game. Players get marked with the time limit. And this game, I can't afford to lose. I need my game partner.
Okay. I don't know about any game, but can I help?
What? Time out. Do you trust every total stranger you meet? Look, sorry, you're no good. You're not a player. And my pack's with someone else.
Okay, so we can't be partners. Why don't I just help you out as your friend?
Now we're friends? It's not that easy.
Not saying it is, but you could make it easier.
Yeah, sounds great. Whatever.
Cool. Lead the way. Whoa.
So there's a little tutorial on flow motion. I'm going to skip that. I'll show you guys off that now because I think the first area is pretty open. We won't get any cutscenes. Okay, so first thing you'll notice is we've reverted back to Sora's appearance from Kingdom Hearts 1, but the clothes are kind of a little mix match of, I guess, both first and second game. So you'll notice that some things are lighting up. Also, the camera's been kind of pushed back a little bit, but not too far back. Also, it's kind of weird to see the full back camera from when we were here in Kingdom Hearts 1. So, we're in Traverse Town, but you'll probably notice some different things. So, for example, if I come over here, you'll notice there's a doorway over here now that was not there in the original game, and a few other surprises as we go around. The biggest surprise being the fact that there are new characters in this world. The world is basically fused together with the world that never was. I'm sorry, not the world that never was. The video game, The World Ends With You. Sorry, there's a lot of world-ending stuff. So yeah, there's a game called The World Ends With You that was designed by the people that made Days. This was after, I think, this might have been before or after Days. I think it might have been before Kingdom Hearts Days came out. But they worked on the same thing and had similar people from the Kingdom Hearts team. So the World That Ends With You characters kind of look like Kingdom Hearts characters, which is why they're the only non-Final Fantasy characters to show up in a Kingdom Hearts game. So there we just met, I don't think he said his name. That was Neku, or I think Neku, I'm saying, or Neku. And I love that little exchange because he's like, do you meet everyone and just immediately feel like you're friends with them? It's not that easy. I love when the game calls itself out for some of its stuff. So we can still do our good old dodge roll. It's back and better than ever. But there's some new things. So if you saw when Neku left us, he jumped around this pole, went up that little ramp here, which I don't believe was in the original game, and then he jumped over to the side. So we can do that stuff too. That's what flow motion is, and this is what's going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3, utilizing objects in the environment as sort of, I guess, versatile platforming elements. So yeah, if you go into, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but if you go into an object, you can do fun things. So for example, going into the light post, sorry, my nose is clogged, you can spin around it. Now you can't do it indefinitely. Eventually, I'm not touching anything, Sora will let go. But you can do certain things. So by running into the lamppost, we can do Buzzsaw, which will do a spin move. So if there's enemies nearby, we can attack them. But it's not just used for that. So for example, you can also do it against the wall. So if you just want to lean into a wall, you can do kick dive and land down. I will spam kick dive a lot in this playthrough because I love going through enemies and then blasting into the floor. Also, we can't leave. You can't go that way out the world. But what you can do is traverse better than you've ever done before in a Kingdom Hearts game. So look at this. No more high jump, no more glide, no more anything. We can go wherever we want. Now, to be fairly honest, I love and I hate the flow motion system. I love it because look how cool this is. But the second thing is that, yeah, save points. Thank you for explaining the save points. The fun thing is that you basically this particular area was never meant to be designed with that kind of control in mind. So for example, this area is still pretty much designed the way it was in the first Kingdom Hearts. Also, they blocked off the Trinity marker. That was cute. Then we get a few chests like usual. There's also chests to collect. But yeah, it's kind of not really meant to be this particular level. Other levels are better at it, but this level not so much. As you can see, I'm kind of going around really fast. The reason why I don't like the flow motion is there's no limit on how many times you can do this. You can do this indefinitely. You can keep jumping around and moving around. So right now it's a small room, but there are rooms in the game that we'll see later, and this is something I mentioned in Kingdom Hearts 2 and later in Birth by Sleep, where there are big rooms that are very empty. And yeah, it's great to do this flow motion stuff and go crazy and go all around and, you know, spin around on poles, and then I think you can even grind on the rails, which is a little small on that one so you can't really see it, but yeah, you can do that too. You can land back on the rail and then grind back up it, and then there's different reaction commands, so you can do shock dive. So I think you do this and then you jump, yeah, shock dive, and then hit some enemies. So yeah, I love the flow motion stuff, but I do hope that in Kingdom Hearts 3 it's kind of limited to only a few things. I wouldn't mind it if maybe it's just a couple of grind rails or whatever. I think it's a little too free and loose right now. They definitely were playing around with it. They said that this was sort of like a trial run for what Kingdom Hearts 3's gameplay would be, so maybe they've toned it down. Also, we can't open this chest like we could in the original, so we're gonna head in through the door to the second district. I can't remember if there is a cutscene. Reality shift. I'll skip this. I'll explain it in battle. Okay, so reality shift. So originally this game was on the DS, which means that the touchscreen was heavily used for some gameplay mechanics. So if we step forward, you'll notice that the camera just freaked out on that thing. So what you do, and I maybe should have done it because I don't remember how to trigger it now. Nope, you don't hit that. You don't hit O. It's not square. Is it a button? Maybe you need to be in combat. Yeah, well, these things are highlighting, and I think what I'll end up doing is, I think if there's enemies that show up, I'll be able to do it, and I don't know if they're going to show up. There should be. Yeah. Okay, this might trigger it in. If anything, I'll double.
Hey, I didn't catch your name.
Dream Eaters!
That's a weird name.
Not me. Them.
Right, I knew that.
Don't let them surround us. Let's split up.
Got it.
Oh, it's Neku.
Huh?
Neku Sakuraba. You asked.
Neku Sakuraba. That's a mouthful.
No, it's really not.
Come on, Neku. Let's take him.
So this is one of the first... I just showed off the thing. So this is one of the first mechanics of the game's new battle system. So because Sora is on his own in this game, there's no party members. They have to figure out a way to replace it. So unlike the Unversed from Birth by Sleep, we now have the Dream Eaters. And we'll explain why these things are here and why the Heartless aren't around, or the Nobodies are around in this particular game, and what we'll end up be doing with partners. Because if you notice, Neku summoned his own little cat thing there, and so we might be able to do the same before long. Also, I love the pandas, because you can go around and do flow motion on enemies too, and then whack them and hit them, and I love doing this, because, again, but it's kind of cheap. You can keep spamming this over and over again. There's no limitation. There's no, like, flow motion bar that allows you to do it, so it's not like the drive gauge where you were limited or whatever. Now you're doing it like this, and I think even if I kill these guys off, the room probably will still have some Dream Eaters that I can probably fight. Yep, did it, and we got strength increase because I went to level 2. I'm going to try to get through this as fast as possible. I want this episode's going to be a long one, but mostly because I just want to get through the tutorial crap, because there's a lot of it here in Traverse Town.
These things with you, they're Dream Eaters too?
Yeah. If I'm gonna survive the game, I'm gonna need some extra help. Think you could control them?
Sure. I guess.
Alright, so this is a flashback, so I'm going to show this one.
If we are ever to strike down Xehanort, we need the individuals King Mickey spoke of in his letter. We must lead them out of sorrow and slumber and back to our world. To do so, 7 sleeping keyholes must be found and unlocked, great power retrieved. As you know, every world is walled off from the next, preventing travel between them. In the past, you could bridge these gaps because the walls were broken, or because you could open special lanes with your keyblades. But your new goals, the sleeping keyholes, are harder to reach. You'll recall in your first journey that you brought many worlds back from the darkness, but some never returned completely. They still sleep, cut off from all outside channels. Not even the Heartless can enter. But these sleeping worlds are said to have their own manner of darkness. They are called Dream Eaters. And there are 2 kinds. Nightmares, which devour happy dreams. And benevolent spirits, which consume the nightmares. The Dream Eaters will guide you, just as the Heartless once guided you to the keyhole you seek at the heart of each world.
And in case you forgot what Heartless are, there's a term. So yeah, the goal of this game is to find the 7 sleeping keyholes. If we do that, we win. And we got the Meow Wow recipe. So the goal here, and I think they might bridge into it now, is how to do spirits. So you have to make your own little Pokemon guys here in Dream Drive Distance as your party member. So you often receive Dream Pieces when you defeat nightmares. You can then use them to create friendly spirits. And don't worry, this isn't so difficult, and don't worry that you're not going to have to like go crazy trying to make these things. It's pretty easy. So you go to spirits, create spirit. And you can create a spirit using a recipe, or you can do it from scratch. Most times I've played, I've done them from the recipe just because it's easier. You can go from scratch, but it's a lot of randomness. But don't think you're going to need a guide, because I think it's possible to get all the recipes in the game. I don't remember using a guide to make them, and if I did, it wasn't for many of them, so not mandatory. And this is very similar to what we did in Birth by Sleep with the melding, only this time around we're melding two little fragments, the dream fragments, and then putting a command in there. So it's kind of like a reverse Birth by Sleep melding thing, where instead of doing two commands and a fancy crystal, we're doing a fancy crystal and a command, basically. That's kind of what we're doing here. And your spirits can be, and you got to give it a name and lots of tender loving care, and I'll explain more about that in a second. So we can select the recipe. So we have this meow wow thing, this little doggy thing, and so we got to use more. You can make a spirit that's stronger. We don't exactly have a lot right now. Why not choose command to power your spirit? So yeah, you can move the little bar over, and you'll notice that if I move it to the right, it'll be level 2. Right now, we don't exactly have a lot of figments right now, so we kind of have to be limited to what we can and can't do. And then we'll just put like Spark Dive that gets defense up 1, so that's pretty good. And we'll hit OK and create the spirit, and then you get this nice little nifty spin around thing. So back on the 3DS, they used like the AR thing. You could put cards in front of the screen, and you could put spirits into the game. I only think the cards ever came with the Mark of Mastery Edition. I don't think there was anything else you could do it with. And basically, I'll show something else with this on how you can take care of them, which I wasn't sure if they were going to put in the game, but they did. So you can give your new spirit a name, so you can name it whatever you want. So Meow Wow is a little weird. Let's give it a real nice name. Let's name it let's see, he's a little doggy, so let's name him after my dog. Let's name it Kayla. It's a good name for a dog. Multiple ways to spell that, but I'll name it after my little dog. So and enter. And so there you go. I got little Kayla here bouncing around, helping out. Okay, all good. And I think now it looks like Kayla, you're off to a great start. But that's not all there is to it. So here is sort of the spirit training room, and you have to get affinity, and you'll be rewarded. Now, there's a trophy, and I think I'll show it off. Use your hand to pet the icon. So originally, this was all on the DS, so you were using the touchscreen to pet. So instead of a cursor, that was just a touchscreen, and you would tap it and go, hello, and then you shake the little thing, and it's a little awkward. You can use the touchpad, I think. Nope, no, you can't. You can poke it. And I think you can use the help button. Tells you what to do. There you go. Now you can rub it. And there you go. The goal is to get max affinity. So you see the hearts? The hearts have to go all the way to the top. There is a trophy in the game, not in the list from the PS4, but a trophy in the game's records, which you don't need to do for 100% completion or anything like that, or to get to beat the game. To get 100% affinity with all spirits. There's a lot of spirits in the game. And if you think I'm going to stand here and rub these things down all day, you got another thing coming. So you get link points from playing around with it and when they fight. And then you can go to the ability board. And I'm glad they're doing this all in one go. So you go over to the ability link. And this looks a little bit familiar to things we've seen in the past with abilities. So on the ability board, you can use link points to unlock abilities. So for example, we've got 12 right now. So we can do link critical, which allows you to level them up a little faster with their special moves to go faster. Each spirit has different things, and each spirits have new things on the board. The more you have, the better it is. There's photo mode. If you press the R1 button, which again used the AR thing back on the DS. I'm going to show it off real fast. So yeah, now little Kayla is next to us. And they'll run around, they'll walk around, they get the little icon over the head so you know that they're friendly, they're not evil. You've unlocked the secret movie. Well, that's because I've already beaten the game. So, whoops, we're not looking at that right now. Long time to see that. So you can go right to it from here, even if you don't want to go to the bond menu, you go straight to the ability links. And so, like, the next thing will be, he'll be able to use the cure command. And then there's other things like abilities. Like Leaf Bracer. The thing that kind of sucks about this game in terms of abilities for Sora, if you go over to abilities that we have, they're all based on what Dream Eater you have with you. Because I took my spirits over, everything's here. Even the EXP Walker 0, which should be only on the other thing. So yeah, everything's here, and it's available, and it shows you which spirits you can put on to gain these things. I don't think it's possible to do all of them, so this is kind of like a Final Fantasy IX, Catch-22 kind of a thing where you can't put all the abilities on. You can only do the ones you need at any point. So you probably want the best one. So I think if I go to spirits, change party, or let's see, change party, I should have access to all the ones I made. So yeah, these are the ones. So Kayla is the one we just made on the real ones that I want to keep around, because I've got some really strong ones that I'd like to keep to make the game a little bit easier for myself. So I will do that on the next part. So yeah, I got little Kayla here. You can do this. And so now there's also training toys. We don't have anything right now, but these are little AR games, and I'll show these off probably at the end of the playthrough. Just what it is. This was a fun little thing. I didn't think they were going to be able to put all this in, considering it's, you know, on the PS4 and it doesn't have a touchscreen. I don't think I have any of the commands. No, commands are still slipped. So all I've got is my spirits, which will help me only with the abilities. So let's walk around a little bit. And we got ourselves some nightmares over here, so let's take them out. Also, my hands are a little bit frozen right now, so if I stumble and fall... Yeah, this is the cool blow off. Not exactly the best name for a move in a game that you'd think would be aimed at children, but, you know, okay, there we go. I'm going to try to fight as many things as I can, because this is still proud mode. And again, we can do this cool flow motion stuff and go all the way around, so no more trouble moving around. So let me see if I can do this now. I want to see... I really should have been paying attention how you do this, and I forgot. Is it the touch? Is it the touchpad? No, it's not the touchpad. Do I have to lock onto it? Game, explain. Hold on, I got it. I want to know how to do this. I want to show you guys how you do this. No, you don't click it. Is it the triangle button? Nope, that's for reaction commands, Chris. That's not. Is the square button it? Nope, that's not it. Is it a lock on? I feel like it's a lock on. Yeah, there. Is it this? Is this it? Meow. No, okay, that's to do the link. So maybe that's not it. I don't know how to. You know, dang it. Okay, I guess I can probably do this even if they're all dead. So, you know, let me kill them off real fast. I'll pause the game and I'll go look at the reality thing, because I friggin' don't remember how to do it, because I'm stupid and I should have been paying attention when they told me. Alright, so now you see he's got the link up thing and the link says link. So now if I press triangle, we can do this cool little move. But I want to friggin'... Oh, he's down there. How'd you fall? Weird. Okay, actually I'll show it up now because we got this little panda guy. So if I use the meow bounce thing, it's basically like a little special like limit break move where you can get different things. So for the meow guy, he just bounces around a little bit. Pretty good for a lot of enemies. You can move it around, which is cool. Some of them require using, well, what was the touchscreen, but isn't the touchscreen anymore. So let me pause the game, providing it'll let me. Still won't let me. Come on. Show me the friggin'... I don't know how to trigger this. I feel so stupid. You do links. Switch. I didn't even know there was a switch. There's not a whole lot of buttons here, Chris. Let's see. Mementos. Tutorials. How do you do reality shifts? Use reality shift to work. Okay. Okay, two buttons. See, this is where it gets a little confusing, because in the DS it was just, you just would drag it. So yeah, this is giving you a little tutorial. So if you press the triangle and circle button, you can interact with these items, and you drag back and you move the other thing around. Again, this was a little bit easier because, again, think about it, on a touchscreen you would just pull back, and I'll just throw it like this. So you would go back and press X, let it go, and it explodes and it hits enemies. So that's how you do the reality shift here in Traverse Town. Every world has their own little thing. If you ever forget what you're doing, tutorials, they help everyone. We're getting kind of long on this episode, so I'm hoping we're up to the part where I wanted to skip and end it, but I also want to make sure we fight off a lot of these guys. Also, I'm probably not going to struggle with killing things that much, because they're really easy to kill in Dream Drop Distance, because again, you can just spam the flow motion move. So I'm going to be doing this a lot until I feel comfortable. Probably on the next episode I'll have the better Dream Eaters attached to my team. But for now, we'll just have to deal with just one little guy. I figured let's not break the game's rules completely. Let's have a little bit of, you know, respect for the fact that this is the opening tutorial stuff. So yeah, Sora's a little weak right now. He's still got some stuff. You don't really need to rely so much on the commands anymore because of, you know, flow motion. It's obviously giving you a little bit more to play around with, so that's always a fun idea. Take advantage of what's around in the area. Take advantage of enemies. You can, the bigger enemies you tend to be able to jump into. A lot of them repeat the flow motion commands. For example, the big enemies always tend to do that weird, like, spin around move, and the poles always do the buzzsaw thing. So yeah, that's always going to be the same. That's never really going to change. Let me just see if there's any chests up here. I'm not really going to go for 100% completion with the chests. Oh, there are some good ones up here, but maybe there are some good commands, and I don't want to miss anything. Love that we can still open up chests in combat. I feel like it was such a huge mistake that the first Kingdom Hearts made in regards to not allowing you to do that. So yeah, this takes out loads of enemies, and you can get like a couple good hits on them. And that one still pile drives into the ground. Ah, Panda Man. Also, I want to see how long it takes me before I die in this particular playthrough. Because remember on Birth by Sleep, we died very quickly. And so the reason why I'm letting this episode go on and I'm not ending it off after a certain point is because there's something I want to end on. Level 3, Strength. Yeah, I don't think we get health again. I think health is once again locked. There's another chest over here. Shouldn't be any heartless. Shouldn't be any nobodies here. And let's head down this way to... Oh, no, I thought it was in the other passageway. Oh, sometimes I get confused. I think my Dream Eater is an enemy. So let's head this way. Oh, sometimes my hand is frozen right now, so I'm slipping on the controller. Let's pile drive down these guys. My strength went up, so this should be only 2 hits now. Make sure you pick up all the little goodies and hit them. And let's go to the 3rd district.
I brought you Sora. We had a bargain.
What's the matter, Neku? Oh, no way!
Hey, that wasn't the deal. You said you wouldn't hurt it.
Don't, Neku! They're too dangerous! What? Why am I so sleepy?
Okay, so that might have been a little weird, and now we're dropping as Riku into Traverse Town. So this is where I wanted to stop the episode. So once we get into Traverse Town as Riku here, I'm going to stop the episode because I feel like that's long enough, and then I'm going to explain how we're going to progress forward as I dive here. So Dream Drop Distance works a little differently than Birth by Sleep did. So Birth by Sleep, we had to we had to play as 3 separate characters and do 3 different playthroughs. You don't have to do that here in Dream Drop Distance. You play as both Sora and Riku simultaneously. So the story will explain in a little bit. Apparently what happens is, because we're in these asleep worlds and we don't really belong there, we're falling asleep faster and getting knocked out. Basically it's the game's cheap way of saying, hey, play as the other character right now. So you'll have a limited amount of time, and we didn't see it on Sora's health bar in his go, but there's a bar above the health bar that will show you your drop gauge. And then you will drop, and that's where the drop comes from. So the dream thing comes from the dream worlds that we're in. The drop thing comes from falling asleep and switching to the other character. And distance is how far away Sora and Riku are always seemingly from each other on their journey. Because even though we're going to land in Traverse Town, we're not landing in the same Traverse Town that Sora's in, sort of, kind of, an A rank. I don't know why. But the game will explain that. Don't worry about that. So there'll be a cutscene here, and then after this cutscene, we'll call it.
Am I in Traverse Town? My clothes have changed. Sora! Where are you? I remember we fell overboard after Ursula attacked, and then I think keyhole. So, this must be one of the sleeping worlds. My Keyblade. It just sort of popped into my hand when I needed it most. Right. It started.
Wow. Where's your portal?
Huh?
It takes something special to jump between grounds without one.
Who are you?
My name is Joshua.
What do you mean, portal?
Are we just skipping past the part where you tell me your name?
Riku.
Hello there, Riku. Portals are like gateways that link up our worlds. Apparently, the world you and I are standing in right now, well, there are 2 copies of it. It's been sort of split in half. Portals are what let folks like us cross between them.
There can be 2 of a world?
The world is as many things as people need it to be. The concept that we all live in the same world, that's just in our heads. Surely you knew. I'll tell you what, Riku. I've got a little errand for you.
Sorry. I don't trust you.
Aw, at least hear me out. I'm looking for a girl named Rhyme. she's the key to the portal. And on the other side, who knows who we'll find? Maybe even your friend, Sora.
You know Sora?
Now I have your attention. But unfortunately, I don't know where he is. If he's not in this version of the world, I can only assume he has to be in the other one. Simple logic.
Okay. You want to find Rhyme? You got it. Let's go.
Okay, so Riku doesn't have the bar over his thing yet, but I'm assuming eventually they will. So yeah, Riku doesn't have any Dream Eaters right now, but I think I probably will be able to attach them to him on the next go. So yeah, I'm going to fight these guys off just while I talk over the last thing. So yeah, as Joshua said, there's 2 copies of Traverse Town, basically. Sora's in one of them and Riku's in the other. And that's how the entire game is going to work. So Sora's going to play through one version of the events of a world, and Riku will sort of get another version. It's not exactly clear which version is the canon thing or which one's real, because these are sleeping worlds and I guess they technically don't exist. Also, I don't understand how Traverse Town is a sleeping world, considering we've been to it, which means it's obviously not a sleeping world, but I guess technically speaking, this is the world ends with you mixed with Traverse Town, so I guess that bit of the world is asleep. Maybe. It's complicated and confusing. This one's probably a little bit harder to explain the aspects of world and world building in this particular version of the game. But yeah, so we're going to call it quits here. Just finished off. So on the next episode, we're going to pick it up as Riku. Going forward, what we're going to do. Let me just see if I can equip spirits. No, I cannot yet, but I will probably do that in the next thing. So yeah, if you go over here, you can see Sora, and then you'll see the top drop. So how many times you can drop. So I think right now we can't, but I'm pretty sure eventually, once it explains it, we'll be able to drop manually if we want. So if we want, we can just say screw it. And real quick, I'll show you that thing in the reports, because I believe trophies are always there. So trophy shelf, they're all here because I've unlocked these from my real playthrough, so it stacks. So one thing was, I think, finishing the game, proof that you finished in critical, because I'm awesome. Rack up the 20 drop points from going into the, I think that's just from fighting. Flick Rush, we'll see that in a little bit what that is. That's kind of fun. That wasn't too annoying. Just kill enough of Dream Eaters. Money, always a good trophy. Proof that you get every one of every spirit, which I think is also a trophy in the game itself. Found every chest, that's always one. Proof that you've defeated 1,000 enemies in flow motion. Trust me, that comes easy when you're spamming it. Dive, you get 7 million points. It's pretty easy to do that. Proof that you've completed every special and secret portal. This you're going to need a guide for. We'll see a little bit about what portals are. Like Joshua said, portals help us go from one world to the next. The portal thing was kind of the online thing. You could leave things for other people to see. I don't necessarily know if the game was online capable. I don't remember it being like that, but you can leave things in the area. They tell you which things to do. So this is the one. Max out every spirit's affinity level. So I think it literally means you have to do every spirit. Not one spirit, all of them. And there's a lot. I think it's like 20-something spirits. So that's a lot of tapping and playing with. So no thank you. And this one is finish the story in critical. Wait a minute. There is a... I did that already. Proof that you finished the story in proud of critical mode. Oh. I guess I didn't finish in critical mode. Ah, well, screw it. Not playing in critical mode because there's no trophy for that. No real trophy. Reality shift. Keep using the reality shift things. You get that one. This is good. I don't have to do this at the end video. Link with your spirits. That's using the special moves. Let's see. What are the ones I'm missing? Proof that you've maxed out every stat boosting ability. If not, I think that means you have to do most of the ability links. And obtained every Keyblade, which I don't think I got either. But thankfully, the 4 here are not necessary to anything trophy-wise on the PS4. So I still platinumed this. So, haha. And yeah, story's done. From here. Yep. Nope. Not supposed to see that. There's spoilers on what worlds we're going to. So yeah, and then all the Dream Eaters, which I'm pretty sure, yeah, the nightmares because we haven't seen them. But these are all the spirits. All the ones you can make, and I've made them all through chests, and some of them are special. So, yeah, we'll see them all as we go. They got weird names, so I'm probably going to rename them like I did. So, yeah, we're going to call it quits. And in regards to how we're going to proceed with this playthrough, what we'll do next time is we're going to have to pretty much finish up Riku, and then he's going to drop automatically, because as you can see, he doesn't have a drop bar next to his health, so we're not in that frame yet. So we'll continue with Riku for a little bit. Then we're going to play as Sora, and we should be able to beat Sora's story and then do Riku. So what will happen after the next episode is we'll do Riku for the first half, Sora for the last half, and then hopefully I can finish Sora's story, and then the next episode after that we can do Riku full with Traverse Town. It may not work out perfectly on my end, but I will edit it that way. So for example, I might, what usually ends up happening when I play this game is because we play Sora first, he obviously has the advantage, and because you're not on the drop thing until the game forces you into it, I tend to always be a one step ahead of Riku with Sora. So Sora's always like starting the next world while Riku's finishing the previous world. And while it's kind of fun from a, not doing the same thing together, it's kind of a weird video layout. So what I'll probably end up doing is, like, once we finish the next episode, and if I can really finish with Sora, which I should be able to, I'm going to do Riku's stuff for the next episode. And if I finish Riku's story in like maybe 10-15 minutes, that will be one episode. That'll be one episode. If I can't beat Riku's go and I drop as Sora, I will probably just manually drop back myself to make it easier on me. So we might drop, and I'll just drop back to Riku, and that's how we'll keep the videos going. So Riku, Sora, Riku, Sora, Sora, Riku, however it will lay. It will never be both together. It'll be one or the other. It can't be both. It will be both next time just because of the unfortunate way that this had to get split, but I kind of knew that going in. I was always worried about how I was going to do this one even when I first started the Let's Play back in May. I was like, oh boy, Dream Drop Distance is going to be fun because of, the mixing and matching, and I don't want to do two things together. Actually, wait, there is a portal. Real fast before we close off. There it is. So yeah, there's these things. That's what that trophy meant when it said portals, and what Joshua was kind of talking about. Also, I hate that everything's blocked off. Yeah, so if you go over to these things and you hit link portal, bond with these spirits. So it just has 3. So I don't think it was online. I just always thought it was when I was younger. But yeah, it gives you these spirits, and you get to borrow them for a little bit, and that's it. There are these called the friendship portals that allow you to borrow dream eaters or spirits, and then there are the battle ones, the special ones where you have to fight like a super powerful boss or something like that. So there are some fun ones, and there's a link for that, and I'll show that off probably in the last video. There's not a whole lot to do with 100% completion, and I'm not really too concerned with that this time. Also, there's only one optional boss here in Dream Drop Distance, and they're not really that interesting, so we'll just show it, probably not beat it, but I'll show it off. Anyway, this episode kind of was an hour, so that's not happening anymore. We're going to just try to keep the episodes as small as we can. I like the Birth by Sleep playthrough. We got through it very quickly. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys on the next part.